Injil, are you back?
Sir, thank you. We're back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Not a problem.
Looks like we have a caller on the line. Caller, you're live with Keeping Score. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Hello?
Hello?
Caller.
Caller.
I guess we lost that caller.
All right, let's try this one.
Caller, you're on the line live on Keeping Score. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, my name is Hafiz Fareed. I'm calling from New Jersey, Montclair, New Jersey.
How you doing? You have a question for Mr. Muhammad?
I have a statement, just a brief statement. I just want to say that Injil Muhammad is the most professional, the most diligent, and the most knowledgeable accountant that I've ever met or dealt with, and I've dealt with him on a corporate level, from an individual level, and I just like to make that statement.
Okay. Yeah, we can obviously tell the knowledgeable aspect. No question about that. He's been giving a lot of tips. Do we have another call?
Yes.
We have another caller online. Caller, you're live on WBAI. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good afternoon. It's Sandra from the Bronx. Thank you for your show. And I was just wondering if Mr. Muhammad could continue speaking about the arrangement you can make with the IRS before he got cut off. He was speaking about that. Could you continue?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And first I want to say thank you to Brother Fareed for his comment. I appreciate that. Yes, what I was saying about the IRS real quick is that when you have a balance with them, you basically have three options. You can enter a payment plan, and the payment plan is based on what you can afford, not what they say you have to pay. If your income is less than your expenses, all right, so let's say your income is $5,000 a month, but your expenses are $5,100 a month. So you have what is called a deficit. The IRS will allow you to not pay them. They call that currently non-collectible, okay? And the last option would be to do what is called an offering compromise. They have a program that basically says if you can't pay them and they understand that they may not ever get paid, they will allow you to offer them a smaller amount. It's based on a formula. It's a little complicated. I don't want to go into the detail on the phone. But the IRS has programs that will give taxpayers ease. And one of the reasons they do this is because the IRS has a 10-year time frame to collect taxes from you. When you file a tax return, there's a 10-year clock that begins to run. Once that 10-year clock is up, the IRS cannot collect taxes from you. So when that time is running out, they would rather get something from you rather than nothing. So again, there's three options: a payment plan, a plan to not pay, or a plan to do a reduction, which is called an offering compromise.
Thank you, sir. And one
Absolutely.
can just call the IRS or go on their website and get all this information?
You can do that, or you give us a call and we'll help you, depending on what the situation is. You definitely go on their website. That's fine. But we may tell you how to really position yourself and present yourself, because we would work in your interest. Obviously, they work in their interest, and that's the way it should be, because we're all big boys and girls here. The IRS is not interested in you doing an offering compromise. You are, and we would be an extension of you. So what I would do is do both, but contact someone like us who can give you the ins and outs so you understand how to move.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the call. We have another call on the line. Caller, you're live on WBAI. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Kenneth. I'm calling from Philadelphia.
How are you? You have a question for Mr. Muhammad?
Great show, man. Unbelievable. I mean, so much information, man. And when the call dropped, man, my lip dropped.
Yeah, mine too.
But I just want to say, what I want to say is, first of all, I want to say that it's a pleasure to the heart and to the soul to hear an African American with this kind of knowledge. Because oftentimes we think other people's ice is colder than our ice.
Right.
And to be an African American that knows this business, that knows the knowledge and the relativity of wealth and money investment, is very, very refreshing to the heart. And I want to say I am a client of Mr. Muhammad, and the results I've gotten was outstanding. And this is not an advertisement. This was not a planned call, because normally I would be in bed now because I work at night. But I heard he was going to be on. I just want to say, man, it's a blessing, again, to have someone in our community that is giving up information that sometimes costs hundreds and hundreds of dollars a year. So we're very thankful for him, and we wish him well and much success with his business.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the call. Going back, obviously this is a sports show. So just going back to the athlete dynamic,
Right.
you talked about it at the beginning, but also, athletes often have all kinds of people pulling at them, relatives, friends,
Yes.
that they don't want to leave behind, and maybe they should not leave behind. That's
Right.
a different argument. But what's your advice in that situation in terms of how these athletes, who to take care of, whether
Right.
they can actually afford it, all that.
Right. Well, you don't want to leave people behind because, first of all, the athlete is successful not just on their own doing. Someone drove you to the game, someone trained you, someone fed you, so we don't want to leave people behind. However, they have to be careful because when you make a decision to share money, you must understand how much money you're sharing. If you make $1 million a year on a contract, you really don't make $1 million because you have to pay federal taxes, state taxes, and you have to pay agents. Most athletes, as we know, they travel around different cities to perform because they're playing games in different arenas. So they have to pay taxes in all the states that they travel in. They also receive a bonus. Sometimes have a signing bonus, and that signing bonus is taxed only in the state in which they play. So a lot of players want to play in Florida and Texas. Maybe that's why the Knicks are having trouble getting people. It just came there, just popped in my head. I shouldn't say that, but anyway.
Right.
So the reality is, how much money is available to share? So the athlete needs to have a clear understanding with that, and have a good accountant that you trust and can tell you the truth. A lot of people are surrounded by yes people, and they say yes to get close to you, but you really need somebody to sometimes tell you, hell no, this can't happen. So they have to be strong enough to deal with people like that. Because a lot of times people are weak and they don't like to hear the truth. But the reality is, first step is, what am I sharing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then when I give something to someone, okay, am I helping them solve a problem, or am I helping them create a new problem?
Mm.
Okay. So you have to think about it from that perspective. If a friend wants to go into business and they come to you with a business plan, okay, and it's clean, it looks really good, you have to evaluate that plan based on not having a friendship relationship because it's business. So if a friend comes to you and say, okay, we have a great business plan, but we want to sell fax machines, would you invest in that?
I don't think so.
No, I mean that's old. All right, so it doesn't make sense. But if they came to you and said, okay, we want to invest in something with a cure for the coronavirus, or let's say something outlandish, they say, okay, we want to invest in a company that's going to travel to Mars. Okay, that may be too out there, right? That may be too technical, and you may not be in a position to invest in that. So the athlete has to say, what am I in position to handle? Another way of saying is, what am I in position to lose, and it will never come back?
Mm.
So when you put together an investment portfolio, in that portfolio you may have a percentage of your investments that you speculate with, that you may get a big bang for your buck, but if it doesn't come back, you're not knocked out. So have a clear relationship with friends. Speak to them about what's really available, because if the three of us get together and we're going to split, $10 million, but in reality it's only $5 million, we're not splitting $10 million. We have to know, what are we splitting? So they need to understand that first before they can share with someone else.
Right.